For Harley traditionalists, the only consolations are the chrome and leather two-wheelers and a tattooed attendant who says she moonlights at a heavy metal bar.
To moonlight refers to having a second job where you work in the evening under the moonlight. And, typically it would refer to somebody who has a 9-to-5 job. Maybe it doesn't pay very well, so they get a second job to help pay the bills. Now, of course, in today's world, a person doesn't necessarily even have their first job during the day. So that doesn't mean that their second job has to be at night, or if somebody's working on weekends, that's still moonlighting, even though they may be working during the day. When I moved to New York City, the apartments were just so expensive. So I had a pretty decent job, but I still couldn't afford to rent an apartment. So I had to moonlight, and I was able to afford my apartment, but I was so busy, I was almost never there. So in this context, she moonlights at a heavy metal bar, which means that she has a regular job and she also has a second job working in a bar. I have a friend, he's got a pretty decent job, but doesn't make enough money, so he moonlights as an Uber driver. And he actually starts moonlighting when he leaves work. So as he's driving home, he is literally picking up passengers and sending them on their way. And then finally, after a couple hours, he usually ends up with somebody that is going near to where he lives. So in this sense, he gets his passengers to pay his commuting costs and to pay for his commuting time too.
Harley-Davidson used to be the Republican Party of the vehicle industry. Perhaps 2/3 of its customers in America are grizzled white guys.
Grizzled refers to someone who has gray hair. Typically, this would be a male, and the idea of grizzled is to refer to an older male with gray hair. It's similar to the idea of a grizzly bear, which it turns out means that the bear has gray hairs, which it does, especially around its mouth. So that's one of the identifiers of a grizzly bear. And at least for people, more or less, if you say someone is grizzled, you're just saying that they're old. So in this context, perhaps 2/3 of its customers are grizzled white guys. And what this means is, for this bar or whatever thing this thing is, that those are who its customers are, older white guys. I've always enjoyed Veterans Day celebrations when all the old soldiers, all grizzled, years after they come back from war, they get in their old uniforms and march down the street, which is always a great encouragement for many of them to not put on too much weight so they can still fit in their uniforms. There's an old friend of mine, John. I hadn't seen him for years and years. And then finally we got together, and he was pretty old and grizzled, just like I expected.
That's all for today. Tom Taylor is an ESL tutor. He teaches English in the United States and outside, all over the world, using Skype. He can be reached at his website, which is
ESL-fullsteamahead.com.
Click on this link and check out his website and email with questions. Thank you, Tom, and I'll talk to you next time.
Thank you.